Matthew Sanders asks, thinking Minnesota is a trap. If Kyle Shanahan gets stopped on the first two possessions and the Vikes take the lead, he will abandon the run. Jimmy Garoppolo's passing his lipstick on a pig. I don't think it's a trap. I mean, this is a really going to be a very competitive game. I mean, it's not a trap. The Niners could win, they could lose, but I don't think they're looking at the Vikings like, oh, we got this. This is easy.
No, if they walk into this as a trap, they deserve to lose it. That's plain and simple.
Absolutely. So let's talk about our keys to the game. I mean, Matthew's keys are if Kyle Shanahan gets stopped on the first two possessions and the Vikes take the lead, he will abandon the run. See, I think one way to lead into this game is these are both kind of front-running teams in the sense that they're not built to come from behind. If the Vikings get a lead on you, if the Niners get a lead on you, they're tough. But if Kirk Cousins has to come from behind and he has to, avoid hits in the pocket, he's getting sacked. If Jimmy Garoppolo has to come from behind and throw a lot of passes, you're wondering maybe not the interceptions, but just the Niners don't execute pass plays particularly well when they have to drop back. We've seen that against Arizona. It's not all him, but it's the offensive line, it's the receivers, it's fumbles, it's drops, it's interceptions, it's a lot of stuff. So whichever team getting a lead early would be a key. There's other keys though. What do you think?
The key for the 49ers is consistency. They must maintain what we have seen the past couple of weeks. And there have been hints at issues. I mean, even against the Rams at home, they had an inordinate amount of false starts for a home game where you don't want to be racking up those false starts because, again, it is an offense that really isn't built for the big chunk. It isn't built to rely on the big chunk plays. They benefit from the big chunk plays, but to me, it must be a minimum of 25 to 30 carries for the running backs. The weight of this game must continue to be the identity of the 49ers. I've said it before and I say it again. If you have an identity, if you believe you are a run-first team, then you enforce that identity on others. You do not allow defenses to dictate to you how you're going to attack them. If you have a strength, lean on that strength. Use that strength and force it down the throats of the defense.
Yeah, and the keys to the game is the faithful getting loud. Thank you, Eddie. You got to get loud.
Get loud.
Keys to the game. Well, if Jimmy's right about his scouting report of the Vikings defense, what they're going to do, how they're going to sort of hang back, too deep, deep linebackers, you're not throwing over the middle. We want you to run the ball. Well, then Debo needs to play running back in this game a lot. If that's how they're going to play it, then you can't. You gotta give Debo another 8 carries. You've got to give Debo another 8 carries because it's going to be hard. Other than the quick slants and the quick screens, it's going to be hard to get that throw to him over the middle where he does his most damage in the pass game. So don't let Debo get taken out of this game because you'll lose. If he gets 10 carries, 12 carries, I mean, the Vikings have no run defense. It's terrible. And he can explode. He's averaging 7.2 yards per carry. That could be the winning edge right there.
I think that's a wise prediction in that, as we stated earlier, you have to manufacture the touches for Deebo Samuel. It does need to be somewhat matchup dependent on how you're going to get it to him, whether it's going to be trying to get him more passes in one game versus more carries in another. If Minnesota comes out and plays the way that it sounds Jimmy expects him to play, it sounds you expect him to play, it seems like a reasonable approach to me, although I would think the two deep safeties is unnecessary for them to play because even if they didn't, I'm not so sure we would take the deep shots. But assuming that's how they play, then you're going to need to get the carries to Debo because if you're not getting Debo enough touches, I'm just not seeing the consistency from other players. I worry Elijah Mitchell's usage coming back with the finger issue. And as I said earlier, Jeff Wilson Jr., as much as I love him and the dark energy that they talk about is something the 49ers were missing on offense. And I do think that he has had an impact on getting other players to play with a more physically dominant style where they are imposing themselves on the opposition. That is, to me, the key is the run game. It must include Deebo Samuel. You must stick with it, even if Jeff Wilson Jr. and Elijah Mitchell are averaging under 3.5 yards per carry, as they have the last 2 weeks. It doesn't matter if you continue to churn clock, play a clean game without penalties, and ask Jimmy to be a bit more conservative, where hopefully you don't have too many turnovers.